Welcome back. Joining us now, editor-at-large for Newsweek, former Capitol Hill Committee Counsel, founder of CNBC, and now executive chairman of Engine Media, Tom Rogers, plus former U.S. Senator Tim Wirth of Colorado. Together, they have a new piece out in Newsweek entitled "How Trump Could Lose the Election and Still Remain President."
All right, Tom.
Okay.
Explain it to us. How could that happen?
Well, Joe, you've been saying he's not running like he wants to win, and one possibility is he just drops out of the race. The other one that the senator and I looked at is he knows he's going to lose, but he's going to hold on to office. Now, that may sound really far-fetched, but this is how it happens. So Biden wins. I don't just mean the popular vote. He wins the key swing states. He wins the Electoral College. But President Trump says there's been a Chinese interference in the election. He's been talking about Biden soft on China. China wanted Biden to win. So he says a national emergency. The Chinese have intervened in the election. Why do I think that's real? Well, just 10 days ago, he actually tweeted, rigged 2020 election. Millions of mail-in ballots will be printed by foreign countries. It will be the scandal of our times. So he's laying the groundwork for this. So he does an investigation, and Barr backs this up with all kinds of legal opinions about emergency powers that the president has that Ed Luce yesterday on your show talked about. And then what happens is it's all geared toward December 14th. Why December 14th? Well, that's the deadline when the electors of the states have to be chosen. Why is that key? Because that's what the Supreme Court used in Bush v. Gore to cut off the Florida counting. So they keep this national emergency investigation going through December 14th. Biden, of course, challenges us in the court, says, hey, won these states. I want the electors that favor me named. The Supreme Court this time doesn't throw the election to the Republicans as it did in 2000, but instead it says, look, there's a deadline here. If these electors can't be certified in these states because of this investigation going on, there's a constitutional process for this. What's the constitutional process? It goes to the House of Representatives. Everybody says, well, that's good. Nancy Pelosi, Democrats control the House. But no, when a presidential election is thrown into the House of Representatives under the Constitution, it's state-by-state vote. Each state gets one vote based on the number of Republicans and Democrats in that delegation. What happens then? Today, the Republicans control the House on that kind of vote, 26-23, with one delegation. Pennsylvania split. Even if Pennsylvania was to elect a Democratic delegation come this new election, because it's the new Congress that votes here, it would be 26-24 Republicans, and Trump retains the presidency. It is not so far-fetched. He is planning to do this.
All right. So, Senator, Tom has laid out the argument. What is the solution to that?
Well, there are really two pathways of Trump holding on to office. You know, one is the electoral one, which Tom's talking about, and the other one is really more severe and more dangerous, and that's the invocation of his emergency powers. The president has vast emergency powers to shut off the internet, to declare a vast public health crisis, to, as Tom says, disrupt elections in all kinds of ways, and invoke the powers of the Attorney General to do so. What are the defenses against this? Well, you would say, the Senate's a defense against it, or the courts are a defense against it. I don't think we should depend on either of those. We certainly can't, watching back at Bush Gore, if it goes to the court and if some kind of decisions go to the court, it has to be done very quickly. You can't depend, I don't think, that they would do anything except follow a kind of pattern that they did during Bush Gore. You can't depend upon the Senate. We've seen them in their supine position for the last 3 years as any kind of a guardrail. So about the only guardrail that really exists is creating a kind of a vast citizens firewall, which reaches out across the country to state, county, and local governments, attorneys general, secretaries of state, business groups that can't stand the prospect of the chaos that's coming from this disruption, from academic groups and citizen grassroots groups, all understanding as much as possible that this is not only a possibility but a probability. Donald Trump is not going to go quietly into the night. He's not going to disappear and hang on himself the label that he hates more than anything else, a loser. He doesn't want to go down as the biggest loser in American political history. He's going to fight like crazy to stay in office, and the best checks against that are very broad citizen action. That has to be put together by groups, first of all, becoming aware of what the prospects of this are. They are very real. We're hoping that the Congress and the committees of the House in particular will really focus on the emergency powers which the president has, and each of the committees of jurisdiction can look at what can be done. What can Adam Schiff, should he be looking at in bringing these powers out in front of people? What are those powers and how can they be used? Rules has the same set of responsibilities, as does judiciary, as does armed services, and so on, to at least use the time between now and August, early August, for intensive public awareness. Sunshine is the best antiseptic, and it's time now for us all to become aware of the need for this sort of citizens' firewall against the prospect of Trump staying in office and using his powers to do so.
Former Senator Tim Wirth and Tom Rogers, thank you both. The piece is in the new issue of Newsweek. And Joe, given the shock factor of this presidency, are you still skeptical? Isn't anything possible?